League injury, eh? I've never had a problem with shoulders there as well.
And then where you did it too, trying to return to Reggie's.
Trying to return to Reggie's, yeah.
That's the worst.
I was just playing for social, and then
I'd almost say you deserved it.
yeah, fair
Not
enough.
doing that.
No,
No, I won't be lured back into a Reggie's game.
nah, fuck.
If I've
Well,
done the training, I'm not playing seriously. I ain't playing.
oh, that is actually that's a fucking good point. And you know what? I grew up with that drilled into me that
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
half-ass anything. But I wasn't half-assed. I was taking a hit up and then just bang, out of action for too long. I think dislocated, collarbone gone. So we'll see how we fucking go. Blake Mara, thank you for coming on.
No worries.
We've been trying to get you on for a while, mate, but you're always busy.
No, it's just never worked out.
Nah,
But
it's
now
all
it
good.
has.
It's all good. We're here now, so we'll start off with so you moved to Toowoomba 4 years ago?
No,
3 years ago? 5 years ago?
no, you got that all wrong.
Oh, fuck.
That's all right.
Oh,
No,
you went to Toowoomba?
I've been in Toowoomba for this January last year.
Oh, well, fuck, I meant like the area.
Oh, so we lived out. I lived out to Kingaroy.
Yep.
So that's a couple of hours out of town.
Yeah.
That would have been 2018, 2019.
Yeah,
So,
because you played for the Diehards in 2019.
yeah.
So before you moved up here, you played in Sydney, was it?
Recently, I went to basically from Dalby, I was
Yep.
working as an NRL game development officer at
Yep.
Kingaroy, doing it for the South Burnett area, and then I moved to Sydney for 12 months.
Yep.
It was basically doing a development officer job at Parramatta,
Yep.
but I was also like training with their Canterbury Cup
Ah,
squad
yeah.
for the pre-season.
So what rep footy did you play down there? Because you played Storm under 20s, didn't you?
Yeah, I did Storm under 20s. That would have been 2016.
Yeah, wow.
That all come about. I played 2 years of under 18s at Caboolture Snakes, and then there was
Yep.
an opportunity to join the Falcons Colts.
Yep.
And that was the same year that Melbourne
Was affiliated.
signed their affiliation
Yep.
with the Sunshine Coast in 2015.
Awesome, lucked in.
Hey?
Lucked in.
Oh, yeah, it's all about timing, really.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't really had too much success at a representative level.
Yeah, well, that's not uncommon for a lot of dudes, I don't think. I think it's probably it's becoming more common that people are starting to, I guess you could say, mature in their footy, like in their early 20s or even a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Like I look at Noah, like obviously my brother, and his representative rap sheet probably doesn't even start till 2017 when he was 16 years old, and so he missed all those junior years, but he started to mature a little bit later, and now he's starting to hit his strides at 21. So you hit your strides at Falcons, and then you played the season down with Storm. What was that like?
So the Storm signed this affiliation, and I was 19 at the time.
Yep.
But their plan was to base their 20s out of the Sunshine Coast because,
Oh, okay.
as you know, like a lot of Storm juniors are actually Queenslanders.
Yep.
So rather than move 30 Queenslanders to Victoria,
Yep.
it's easier just to move a couple blokes from Sydney or a couple from Victoria that they've had to Queensland.
Yep.
And so they had like development squads going on, and
Yep.
they basically said, well, mate, we need someone to do pre-season for 6 weeks before Christmas. And then, I went, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. Like,
Yeah.
as a kid, never made anything. So
Yeah.
this is ridiculous. Can't believe it. So I trained really hard.
Yeah.
And I hadn't actually, because I didn't make any of those rep squads, I didn't have a lot of pre-season experience. Like even when I joined the Colts that year, I didn't do the pre-season.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I sort of rocked up probably in March.
Yep.
To be honest, I was a bit overweight. So my first year out of high school,
What were you weighing?
I got up to 110.
Oh shit!
Which,
Those are rookie numbers now, mate.
Oh no, but mate, I got up to 110.
You would have felt
quick.
it every kilo of it at 110.
That first year out of high school was a bit lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a tough year. Like looking back, like going through it, it wasn't a tough year. Like
Yeah.
as in, you were just sort of going with the flow. But looking back, I was real lost. As in,
Yeah.
I was always ambitious about different things, but couldn't quite figure out
Yep.
what I wanted to do, and I never really ever considered rugby league a career option.
Oh, okay.
It was always pie in the sky,
Yeah.
So like my family, we probably don't have like too many sportsmen or any or sportswomen in the family. So, come from a blue collar family, I guess. So I never really thought that was. And not making the rep teams, you don't think, and then all of a sudden this opportunity is in front of you.
Yeah.
And I'd never experienced a pre-season, so which is probably a good thing because I built it up in my head to be way worse than what it was.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
really?
so I was out slogging myself
Yeah.
on the oval for probably, once I found out in August,
Yeah.
I started going, well, gee whiz. Like, I'd lost a bit of weight before the cult stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So I wasn't 110 at that stage, but I thought, gee whiz, I've got to be fit for this.
Yeah.
I was running around this oval and this old fella come over to me because he was training people at Caboolture Sports Oval.
Yeah.
Marty Roberts, his name was.
Oh,
And he actually trained Kathy Freeman for the Olympics.
oh shit.
I didn't know this at the stage.
Yeah.
He's in his late 80s. And he comes over and I'm thinking, mate, he's fit as a
He
fiddle.
was fit for an 80-year-old.
Mate, 100%.
Oh, fuck.
Probably still faster than me now, to be honest. But athletic guru, and he's like, mate, am I going to be in your way? And I was more thinking, oh, if I'm in your way, I'll move. I was just
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
ladders and hurdles. And
Yeah.
he goes, oh, yeah, what do you do? Got into a conversation, and like, he grabs me neck to feel me pulse. Like, you know, the old
Yeah.
heart rate, and goes, oh, mate, you're pretty fit. And I'm like, oh, I've been training. And he goes, well, do you want me to train you? I was like, oh, what's it cost? He's like, oh, nothing. I was like, what do you mean nothing? He goes, oh, every day I rock up to this oval at
Yeah.
3:30, and whoever comes, I train them.
Oh,
I was
cool.
like, no way. And I was with another guy at the time, and I said, oh, should we take him up on it? And he was a bit sus on it.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, mate, I went and did it.
Yeah.
And it was the best thing ever, mate.
Yeah.
Like, it was weird training, like, as in, it was sprints and stuff like that, which
Yeah. Was it like the people he was training? Were they like?
athletics
people,
people, 100%. Yeah, like, I couldn't keep up with them on.
Yeah.
But it was good because it gave me someone to chase.
Yeah,
Like,
fuck
there was this girl. She was an incredible long distance runner.
Yeah.
Like, she'd run 5K in this ridiculous time, and
Yeah.
it was awesome.
And that was
And,
your rabbit.
mate, I got so fit. Like,
Yeah.
I rocked up the pre-season, and that's why I ended up getting a chance with the
Yeah.
20s. Is the coach just said, look, mate, we want to keep you around because you set a good standard
Yeah,
in
shit,
fitness,
shit.
and you set a good standard in training. And honestly, that probably made me that 6
Mm.
months.
I think fitness is probably the one thing that you can't fake.
Mm.
Like I feel like you can be a half big dude and you can throw around a bit of weight on a bench press, or you can, you know, you might be a skinny dude and you might be able to pull yourself up a fucking 50 times or a chin up.
Yeah.
But it's weird, like there's no faking when you're on a 1200 track and you've got to get under 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like you get picked out pretty fucking quick
Yeah.
when you're running 7 minutes into 1200 and you're just getting blown away.
Yeah.
And it's the difference, like in NRL. You look at NRL level, the fittest clubs are the ones that destroy teams because their front rowers can go hard for
Yeah.
25, 20 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
And so I think that's definitely the secret, but not the secret.
Well, you know, I mean, even now I coach the Clydesdales
Yeah.
21s, and you'll take and we don't have a big side, and a
Yeah.
lot of, you know, sometimes the boys in the team, they get a little bit, you know, everyone makes comments about, how much bigger are they? But
Yeah.
you'd much rather be a part of a fit team than a big team.
Shit, yeah.
Because, you know, when things are going well, it's great to carry size, but mate, fitness, like you said, it shines through. You
Yeah.
know, like it's good to be big, but you've got to be fit to play rugby
sure,
league.
yeah.
And you've played rugby league yourself.
Yeah.
You know, the times when you're feeling fit, rugby league's fun.
Yeah.
If you're not fit, rugby league's fun for
Not
about
fun.
2 minutes,
Yeah.
and then you're out there going, why have I signed up to do
Yeah,
this?
it's fun, and then someone knocks the ball on you, fucking cheering
Oh
because you
no,
get a
6
break.
more tackles.
Yeah, oh yeah.
No.
Well, we'll just come back to the coaching, but we just touched on before we started about the junior programs. So do you think that New South Wales has a better pathway program for NRL players than Queensland does?
It's hard to say. Like, it's subjective to different like clubs, and
Yeah.
there's Queensland's got some really quality
Yeah.
junior pathways. A lot of that, so a big part of it's resources.
Yeah.
You know, like if you've got good resources and the people that are in charge of those know what they're doing, you can create a really good junior system.
Yeah.
I'd say the biggest difference probably from what I noticed from being in both states is because of the NRL affiliation with the junior systems in New South Wales,
Yeah.
that pathway towards the top grade,
Yeah.
rugby league's probably considered, and it comes back to the issue I had, rugby league's probably considered a genuine career option for those kids. Like
Oh,
they
okay.
see it.
Yeah.
Like you're training, you can see the NRL squad over there, and
Yeah.
you can see the guys at being where you are.
Yeah.
So players from a younger age are going, no, I want to do that, and that dedication and that, you know, they take it really serious. Whereas you know, you're trying to say to a kid out in the middle of Queensland, like, mate, could potentially be NRL, but it's hard to make them really buy into that. Like, I remember training for Sunny Coast, now Meninga team, or, you know, like, you still don't feel like you're anywhere near NRL. You're sort of like, gee whiz, it'd be amazing if a scout just picked me up randomly.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas when you're playing, say, SG ball for Penrith Panthers, you're wearing a Penrith Panthers uniform. You know, you're training at their facilities. You can see
that is actually a really good point. And I think, like, even looking back on it, like, there's only the Broncos or the Dolphins have Broncos, or they don't anymore actually, but they used to have the Broncos on their jerseys, and then Tweed Coast Seagulls used to have the Titans on their jerseys. Yeah. So that was kind of the closest that you know we ever got with the Toowoomba Clydesdales. Even when we were the Western Mustangs and we played for the Western Mustangs, and we were affiliated with the Titans for 6 months or whatever, and then you know, like, but we never saw any of that. You know, like, we had blokes go away to a testing squad, but never anything come of that. And we were, like, my age group was the team that won the grand final, like the state carnival. Like, you could imagine that at least be someone popping their head in and being like, oh, but half of that team is back playing club footy. Yeah. You know, like, if it had been Redcliffe Dolphins who won that grand final,
they'd probably still be in the club playing Queensland Cup or
in trust or playing something. Yep. So I think that's one of the biggest problems out in this area is, like you said, the belief. And it's that when you're down there and you can see the blokes and you're wearing the colours, the same colours as the NRL players, it's like, oh shit, you know, like, I'm just down here and they're just up here. Whereas out here, it's fucking planets apart.
I think, like, advice to players and even parents of younger players as well would be that, you know, look, I mean, it is like, it's crazy to think about, you know, dedicating yourself to have an NRL playing career, like the odds of it are against you and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. But, mate, the training and the dedication and all that's involved with that doesn't just end up with nothing. You know what I mean? If you're seriously dedicated and you come up just short, I'm sure that's going to open opportunities up for you in your life.
Oh, shit.
And that's kind of how I view where I am at the moment. So, you know, strive for that. And, all, you know, there's plenty of worse things you can be doing in your teens or your early 20s than trying to be a dedicated rugby league player.
Shit, yeah. You know? Like, you know my old boy, and my old boy is a massive, massive believer in, you know, rugby league's not just rugby league. It's the friendships you make, and it's not just the friendships, but it's the contacts you make. It's the people you meet. It's the actual, you know, like, giving a fuck about something. Yeah. When you really give a fuck about something. And people who aren't sports people don't understand that. People who are sports people understand when you're extremely competitive and you will do anything to win, and you're up every morning running, or you're home every afternoon setting up cones and passing the same footy at the cones. Yeah. Like, that goes into your adult life, even if you don't play footy anymore. I just had Alex Brown in here, and he was just saying how his intense bodybuilding programs are second nature to him, almost easy, but easier because of the platforms built by pre-season trainings, by dedicating himself to a sport for 10 years. Yeah, yeah. And so, like, I think you're absolutely right in that aspect, and there is definitely worse things you could be fucking doing.
That's right.
In your early 20s.
Yeah.
So you played A grade for Valleys last year?
Yeah, so mate, when I moved back, that experience with Parramatta, that sort of ended sort of prematurely because of COVID. Yeah. And all the opportunities that I moved to Sydney for were kind of put on hold due to COVID. You know, I was working for New South Wales Rugby League at the time in Penrith. All the junior leagues could go ahead, but none of the representative stuff could. And eventually, me and Soph just sort of went, oh, it's not worth it. Let's head home. Yep. And, you know, there wasn't any sort of jobs available in rugby league, and so I actually started league first.
Was there a culling there of, like, the play NRL people, like, were they sort of lost in a job, or?
Yeah, so a majority retained their jobs. Yep. Some opted to leave, some, you know, there was some fallout in that area, but I opted to leave, get home, and so I sort of created a job for myself. But
is that the league first?
Yeah, which a couple of the clubs in Toowoomba really got behind.
Ah, that's awesome.
But a guy out here named Ned Murphy, he got him a ear about coming to play for Valleys, and I thought, oh well, you know, so I originally moved back to Caboolture, was living at home with my parents, training with the Snakes, tried to get my business started on the Sunshine Coast. And it just wasn't working. I'm working out in, you know, South Burnett and all that. I had plenty of contacts out here, so they were really supportive, which I'm still so appreciative of now.
Good. You still run the league first?
No, so
it's just busy with Clydesdales.
Clydesdales, and now I work for the Bulldogs. It's kind of a.
Were you getting a heap of numbers?
It was starting to get to a good stage. Yeah, it was starting to get to a good stage.
I remember like when I first seen it, I thought it was awesome, and it's definitely because, you know, like when I look back on my biggest pre-seasons, the only really big pre-season I had was Cyril Connell, which was like 4 months before. But if there was something provided earlier, because like I did my knee reconstruction when I was 12, and that just put me miles behind my own age group, even though we were still so young. And then like getting back to that was, you know, running and never having any direction. Like it was just running without knowing what to do. It was just running because running makes you fit. And so like if there was actual, like there would be lots of people out there, like younger kids, who would be keen to like start getting like a leg up, sorry, in their pre-season and getting fitter and stronger and shit. So like, what was your age range that was showing up?
I did all the ages, mate.
Cool.
from sixers who just looking for a good way to get started, or 15s and 16s. I did personal training, group sessions. I coached club teams.
Oh, cool. Out of Valleys.
Yeah, we ran all clubs in Toowoomba. You know, all the clubs in Toowoomba were so supportive. Did coach education. So I just did a range of things really. And that, you know, learned heaps about business as well. Like it was great education for me. Like just on, you know, I probably come in, I undercharged on certain things at the start, and then realised, gee whiz, I'm barely breaking even on that part, or I haven't budgeted enough money to get past this. So I actually had to do a bit of teacher aiding and stuff to keep my lifestyle afloat. But it was a great experience.
It's a massive learning experience, I'm sure. Do you think it's something you'll go back, to?
Well, it's hard to say. I really, you know, I've always wanted to work for a club. And I've always wanted to work in coaching. So I've kind of got that opportunity now. So I'm really privileged, and I'm really looking forward to using it to make a difference. So I'm kind of happy in the space I'm at. And there were certain pressures and stresses that come with running a business that I enjoyed the creativity. I'm a creative person. I like the chance to get in and, you know, do the stuff on Canva and all that. I really love that. But the stresses with numbers and, you know, it probably wasn't my strong point. So, you know, if I was going to do it again, I'd definitely go into it a little bit more structured and planned. So I wouldn't rule it out ever, but you know, hopefully I don't end up in that situation.
Well, mate, absolute congratulations for the Bulldogs gig. That is massive. I remember Noah and Max coming home and telling me, and Noah was almost in shock at like being told that, okay, we're affiliated with the Bulldogs. And so like the job itself, you said, was
Academy coach.
And also congratulations on coaching the Toowoomba Clydesdales.
No, thank you.
How'd you get that job?
I applied for it. I don't know how many people wanted it. But when I first come to the area, you know, that was what I was keen to get involved in as well. Because I'm really, you know, I've always been passionate about coaching and the development systems, and big believer in getting that stuff right, that you get success. So I'm not of that mindset of like, let's just get the best players in and just, you know, I like the fact that, you know, let's get the best people involved.
And then you can build on.
And then you can build off that culture. So that's kind of what we've tried to do this year so far, is make sure we've got the right people in the room.
And you got blokes, like I feel like when you come into a representative coaching role, you don't have people there that half want to be there. Every player that rocks up wants to be there, and they want their position, and they're going to work harder than each other for their positions. I think that's the biggest, or one of the biggest differences between that and like club coaching, where you got blokes that are half-assed, and that's okay because it's social. But like when you come to Toowoomba Clydesdales, it's like, righto.
And I think that has been lost was lost a little bit, just because, the club had some really tough results. And so with some poor results, then all of a sudden things regressed pretty quickly. So it was really a matter of, having the new Western Clydesdales rebranding really helped. It sort of gives it that fresh air. And, I think anonymity to Toowoomba, like I'm not a Toowoomba local, I don't have all those ties to the area. Enable me to just come in and just, I don't know what club you're from. If you want to come and have a go, you can come and have a go. And mate, I got on the phone to all the players from the year before. And a fair few of them didn't want to be involved anymore. Some of them I think was unfortunate. Like I think, it would have been good to have them, and I think they needed a break. But then there was others that probably didn't come back because they probably wouldn't have enjoyed the new culture as well. Which is fine. Like, it's not for everybody. But I think it was really important to establish that the Western Clydesdales is a semi-professional system in aims of producing professional players. That's what we want to do. And that means we have to run our club and our trainings and our culture a certain way. And if you're more of a social player, well then that's what club football essentially is for.
And that's what I think the Western Mustangs was getting to. You had blokes rocking up, half-assing it, and then, they were playing for the fact that their mates were playing, but no one really crazily wanted to be there, and they were getting pumped.
It's good to be good. It's good to play with your mates and stuff like that. But in rep football teams, and it's not a rep football team really, because we play all season long. We're a club that plays in a statewide competition.
How many games do you play this year?
16.
Before finals, eh?
So, with that comes team selections, and so you become mates with the people that are there through all the hard work you're doing in preparation for that season. And like you said, everyone needs to earn their jersey, and we're slowly getting back to that. So, I feel like amongst the group at the moment, we've got good people. Like people that might come in one night and, we might have a feed or whatever, and you get really good compliments about, they're really lovely, or they've got good manners, and that means more to you as a coach than anything really, because that's what I'm trying to instill in the group. So
and you got blokes there that'll be there next year that can bring those beliefs and that culture through for the next wave to come through, or people who come back to Toowoomba, because Western Clydesdales is becoming a recognised professional club, like you said. And so, what was the pre-season like? Was it pretty hard on the boys, or most of them were pretty good?
No, it was tough. We work with the Fit Lab. They're a local gym here that provide strength and conditioning, mate. They do an excellent job. So Corey Wolski and Alex Gion, they're our two strength and conditioning gurus, mate. And we made it really obvious, coming in, and just I sort of watched how it was being run the year before, and it wasn't a very collaborative approach. The strength and conditioning element, which is important in pre-season, was kind of this is when you do your con, and then you come and do your football, and then it was real segregated. So they'd train with a Fit Lab employee for half an hour, and then they'd come over to their football coach. It was we wanted to have that collaboration. So if I was going to have those guys, I wanted them a part of the coaching team.
So they'd come and...
Well, they might do a 15-minute comp block, come across to us into some skills, and go back to the comp block, then come back and do that fatigued. And, we spoke about not just constantly running out to a marker and back, or, there's got to be a scientific element to it. So that way you're progressing, and, you're not overtraining them, undertraining them, and all that kind of stuff. But there's also got to be an element of fun, and that's something we realised we need to get back into it. As in, this is a place you want to come and train. So there was lots of conditioning games, and which is brilliant, because that's how you develop your skills. You're running around, and next thing you know, you've got a footy in your hands, you've got to execute under pressure.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and as a player, it could become quite robotic to constantly go, right, we're running this many metres, and you've got to do it in this many seconds, and there's an element of that that's necessary to get yourself physically prepared, but there's also that element of why do we play rugby league? Because we enjoy it. So training's got to be enjoyable. So, the big things are you behaving correctly? In a way that's going to, are you going to behave in a way that you're going to be able to receive the information we're giving you as coaches and develop as players? And two, are you respecting your teammates by training in a way that enables them to do the same thing? That's kind of the two big things that are really important to me as a coach.
Yeah, shit, yeah.
There's you know, there's no point having this really talented bloke if he's going to distract others or not buy in, and then you know, I've got that young impressionable 19-year-old kid who, you know, really wants to do this, and I don't want them getting dragged away from that, because that desire that they have, that's what's going to, you know, help them progress as a player and make them coachable. So it's important that, you know, players buy into that.
I think that was like very, very extremely well said in regards to, like, when I look at coaches, you know, like I look at, like, without any bias, I just look at my old boy, and it was because he was very similar in that aspect, in that, you know, like we would do, you know, any person who pulled their finger out in rugby league knows you have to do 1200s, you have to do a Maxwell every now and then, you know, like those are the shit drills that are going to get you to the point you need to be at. But we would do fatigue game drills, like where you do a shuttle and then you got to tackle for 6 sets, and like that shit, that's very real shit that happens on the field when you're under fatigue and you're tackling people while you're spewing up out the side, but like you got to keep doing it. So I think, I think you should go a very long way. The culture that you have created, just from what I've heard from Noah and Max, they are wanting to train, they are wanting to come back every week. They always talk about, like, that when it's time to train, it's time to train, and when it's time to socialise, you can all actually get on with each other really well. So, mate, hats off to you for that, because I'm sure, well, I know that probably hasn't been a part of the Clydesdales for years, or that the Western Mustangs as well. Like, there was always that social side of it, but no, that's awesome, mate. So you played 2 trials, was it, and then the first game? 3 trials?
So we played our 3 trials actually. We started against Redcliffe, and they obviously didn't run out with their full strength team. You know, they had a lot of trialists involved. We had a competitive game with them, which was really good. We went down in it, but there was, you know, and that was the same. Like, I didn't run our best team. Like, I kind of split our talent up a bit, because I was really of the opinion, like, there's been a lot of, I guess, a lot of players have done a lot of hard work, so I want to give everyone at least a crack, you know, like, you know, if they're willing to sacrifice all that and train to a certain level for me, I wanted to make sure that they at least, you know, I tried to split it up as even as I could. So we never went in that first game trying to win it, and I didn't want to have that approach either, because, you know, I mean, it'd be fantastic to just get some results straight away, because straight away you're like, oh, look at this, they've come along and look how well they're doing. But if you you know, for example, go gung-ho to win this trial game to prove that to the community, you know, it might have cost me having 5, 6 guys there, you know, and in the long haul, that's not the right option, you know. So I'm really confident in what we're doing. I'm confident in the guys we got there. So we took that slow approach. Unfortunately, in our other couple of trials, we had a few disciplinary things. We had to we had to make some tough decisions on sitting players out for not reaching the standards that we wanted. We had a couple blokes out with COVID, so we kind of ran out some teams in those other 2 games that probably weren't our strongest sides. In saying that, I thought the players that ran out there, they respected the jersey and put a good performance in. Mate, we just had a round 1 game against Brisbane Tigers.
East,
and I think we went down 32-16.
That's definitely, I think Noah said that one of the players for East said they were expecting to come out and flog yous. And I think that's kind of a backhanded compliment. But,
awesome. Thanks, buddy.
Cheers. But I guess, like, one thing you can take out of that is, like, do you think you played the best team that you've had?
But we're starting to field some interest from players. Like that, see this as a good place to come. You know, so having that Bulldogs card and that our Intrust Super Cup, Host Plus Cup bid is coming along well, and that gets out to players. So I think our squad will get stronger, if anything.
So the Bulldogs are going to send some players up, or?
No, not at that level. That stuff probably come down further in the future. But they'll definitely help us with recruiting and all those sort of things.
And the Host Plus side, so what's the go there?
So we're just, I guess in May we kind of find out if we've met the criteria of the QRL to enter the competition.
Which would be, is that like minimum people per game or?
It's probably more to do around landing a major sponsor. Oh, okay. So I know that the club's in talks with a couple of those.
Yeah, I'm sure Toowoomba's got a couple of heavy hitters that surely come.
If any of them want to reach out, reach out.
I'm sure
that's probably the last.
That's
the last hurdle. Like, there's some great people who've done a lot of work behind the scenes to get the bid to where it is. So we're, I pretty much talk about it like it's locked in at the moment. So I'll be really disappointed if it isn't.
That's right. We'll post this clip of the podcast up and tag in.
Yeah.
But the Host Plus side, so that's open then, isn't it?
Open men's.
Yeah.
That's so.
Do you think that'll bring? Like, do you think you'll get much attention from local A-graders?
It's hard to say. Yeah. Like, I think there's a lot of blokes in our local A-grade comp that have had their day. As far as like they've been in those systems now, they've come back because they don't want to. Like the level of training and dedication that's required, that might be, their life might not suit that anymore. Yeah, but in saying that, there's probably a few young guys there that go, oh, well, I'll throw my hand and have a go at that.
Yeah, well, I was only just looking at team sheets the other day, and the local A-grade comp is riddled with, I say young, I don't know how young I am, but fucking people my age are riddled through A-grade squads nowadays. So I definitely think that there was a lot of boys that when it got to 21s, that there was just nothing for them to go to.
Yeah.
And they're very quality footballers, but they just fell back into A-grade and then get back on the piss all the fucking time and they fall away. So I feel like that'll bring a lot of attention from the local younger A-graders.
Yeah.
And you might even get your die-hard fucking 36-year-old A-grader that's played 12 years of A-grade and pull his finger out. But do you think it'll bring a lot of attention from like outside Toowoomba?
Absolutely. That's a serious level of footy. There's a lot of people out there that are really hell-bent on playing that level. So for them, it's another opportunity. There's another club. There's another 17 guys running out at that level now.
There's going to be scouts at every fucking game.
That's right. So, with our link with the Bulldogs, the goal for us is to create a pathway where, our Intrust Super Cup provides NRL players to the Bulldogs one day. That's the overall goal. So...
I don't think, by the sounds of it, if it all when it all goes ahead, that's absolutely fucking awesome, and it's something that's been talked about in Toowoomba for so long.
Yeah.
And they've had hiccups. I remember Paul Reedy got on and said that there was going to be an Intrust Cup side in 2018, and
it was like a fishing rod with that Mars bar in front of it. Yeah. It was always.
And I remember being at that conference where he said that on TV, and then Dad asked the local QRL representative on his way out, so do you really think Toowoomba's getting it Intrust Cup team? And he pretty well laughed in Dad's face and said, not a fucking chance.
Yeah, right.
And so that's what it was back then. But now
it's definitely progressed, mate. We've got Fraser Hess, he's the CFO, he's that's a funded position for the Clydesdales, so he's actively out there in the community, engaged with partnerships and sponsorships,
and I think it's good that the Clydesdales are a lot more separate, as a separate club now. They don't have people from other clubs working for them. It's this.
Mate, the Bulldogs have supported massively too. I'm a full-time employee working in the area now too. So that's that's support for the Clydesdales. It's just supporting the concept and giving it a bit of life.
So what's how often do they fly you down, or they just keep you here?
So I've been down once now. I'll work out of here majority of the time, but I'll go down there sporadically. Cool. So if we're going to discuss things like the junior development systems, because they want our Clydesdale systems to marry up with what they're providing in Sydney. So basically, I'd be a conduit for that. You know what I mean? So they'll fly me in, give you the information, and then basically try to roll something out similar up here. Obviously, nothing's going to marry up perfect.
No.
We've got a different clientele, we've got different
blokes.
You've got people travelling further distances, all those kinds of things. So it's going to be different, but we want to provide a quality product.
I think, very much on track. What was it like meeting Phil Gould for the first time?
Strange. I've listened to so many podcasts of his. Yeah. So then,
is he pretty down to earth, or is he?
Yeah, great bloke.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, awesome.
Did he? Oh no, he didn't go to the boys' presentation. I thought Noah told me he did, but he fucking lied to me, the cunt. Oh, well, him himself, his affiliation with the Bulldogs would be massive.
Yeah,
like for them to get him on board.
He's a mover and shaker, so he gets things happening. But yeah, no, it was crazy just to meet him, to be honest.
Yeah. So your predictions for this year, where would you like to end up for the 21s?
For our 21s?
Yeah.
No, I think we can string some wins together and challenge for finals. I think last year, 8th place, won 7 games. You know, I think the squad that we're assembling, the progression we're making, there's no reason why the boys shouldn't start thinking that way. That's what I said to them at half time of our game against Brisbane. That if you don't believe that you can win some games of football at this level now, then there's nothing that I can ever say to you that that'll make you believe that. Because we were right in that game. Unfortunately, we probably fell short in a couple of areas in literally little crucial parts of the game. And I think that was the message I hope the boys took out of our first performance, is that, as much as we haven't, teeter tot around, it's an elite competition. So it only takes for you to get a couple of things wrong and you lose. And even myself as a coach, I'm an inexperienced coach, so I'm learning things. I got our interchange wrong, and I think that kind of...
Oh yeah, Noah said he played 35 minutes in the second half.
Yeah, that's good for him though. I got our interchange wrong, so I probably...
what happened there?
I probably could have pushed a couple of guys out a bit longer.
Oh, okay,
and that might have just been the nice side of me, like, let's get this bloke on, he's probably sitting on the bench, but probably I probably should have had a bit more vision for the whole game. So, but I've learned that lesson. I won't make those mistakes again. So I'll get that right. But that's part of it. I'm improving, team's improving. So
something easy to clean up. I think the culture that you've created is magnificent, and it's something that all the boys want to keep coming back to. But so little shit like that you'll clean up throughout the year, and it's shit you'll just learn along the way, eh?
Absolutely, yeah. No, so and I've had massive support from the support staff and the club itself with building that culture as well. So that makes it easy, and even so, Noah's our captain. Like having people like him involved. The players drive the culture. Like I can stand up in the front and say, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. But at the end of the day, if they come together as a group and don't do it, then you're not having any success. No. So, it's taken, and that's why there's certain people that aren't involved in our squad anymore that they're definitely talented enough, but they weren't buying into that culture, and they weren't putting the team first.
And they just drag everyone down.
And that's where the harsh reality comes down to, is this person contributing positively to the group? Are they,
are they fueling everyone up or taking everyone?
You look at some people, you put them in a group, it's not always about what they bring to the group as an individual, it's about what they bring out of others. So there's some people you go, well look, they're not the most talented player, but through their work ethic they might push others to work harder, or through their humour they might keep everyone in a positive mood. So if, what do you bring to a group? Is it positively contributing to the group? Then we can find a spot for that person.
Exactly, I think it's, mate, absolutely, congratulations. We'll wrap it up there. I don't know how long we'll be going for, but we'll fucking...
Time for
I'm losing track of all this shit. Blake, thank you so much for coming on, mate.
I appreciate it.
We will tee up again because I've been told that the strength and conditioning boys want to come on. So
we'll do that.
So we'll
do like a 3-way.
Yeah, we'll do it awesome. So we're actually upgrading all the equipment soon, so that's pretty cool. And we can get 4 mics in here then, and we can get all the boys to chat shit.
That'd be mad.
I think it'll be real good. Or you could, if you're happy to, bring a couple of players in and we can fucking do it one night after you train or something.
We can do that.
I was going to talk. Did you have a look at when your buy is? Is it the 23rd?
We'll have to. I will have a look around that and make sure I'm not going to clash that with something else.
Right. Well, we'll try to do something up there.
I'll give you the non-committal answer.
Fair enough. Thank you so much, Blake. We'll catch you around, mate.
No worries at all. Thank you.